Good morning, guys. In the last class, we started our discussion related to Spring Security. So security is very important for every web application that we are going to develop. Spring Security is one of the module that is available in the Spring framework that supports for both authentication and authorization. What is the meaning of authentication? Authentication means verifying who can access our application. Authorization means verifying which user can access which functionality in our application. In order to add the security for the project, we have added one dependency called security starter in the pom.xml. Then it will provide default basic authentication for our application. Username will be user, password will be auto-generated, which you can find in the console. Okay, to overcome that problem, we are going to override security default credentials by using the security username and password. Okay, then how to secure specific URL patterns? So whenever we add the security starter in the pom.xml, then it will apply security filter for all the HTTP methods of our application. So in the reality, we need to secure only few URLs. For that, we need to customize the URL patterns. For that, we have taken security filter chain bin and we specified for which URLs security not required and for the remaining URLs security is required. Then next, when you configure the properties in the pom.xml, in the properties file, only one user details we can configure. How to configure multiple user details in the application? So that's where we are going to deal with in-memory authentication in the Spring Security. So what is the meaning of in-memory authentication, guys? In-memory authentication nothing but which users we want to authenticate. We can configure within the program as a bin. For that, we have taken in-memory user details manager and we configured multiple users for that. So now you can access the application by using any one user credentials. You can access from the browser or you can access from the Postman also. And I have given the requirement, develop the REST API with the basic authentication and configure authentication credentials in the properties file for properties file or use in-memory authentication. So you need to develop one REST API with the basic authentication. Then you need to test it from the Postman. Then you need to develop the consumer to access secured REST API. So this is the task I have given in the last session. Akhil completed the task. Akhil, can you please share your screen and show me how you developed that consumer application to access secured REST API? Akhil?
Yes, I'm sharing.
Yes, fine. Guys, all of you observe how he implemented that logic to access the secured REST application.
This is a very simple one. I have not tried
Yeah,
most of the things.
no
so
problem.
things that the ticket application is there. And there is a one more application which is ticket consumer application is there, which is going to
Okay.
access ticket application. So here we have a two endpoints for the ticket.
Get ticket method. Yeah, you can start the provider. Provider is we are good. Yesterday we have seen the provider. I'm interested to see your consumer.
Yes.
You run the provider.
Is running
Show
actually.
the provider in the Postman. Access the provider in the Postman.
Yeah.
Share your complete screen. I can see only your IDE. Share it again. When you click
All
on
right.
share screen, choose entire screen option.
All right.
I can't see your screen.
Can you see now?
Yeah, I can see now. Yeah, go to Postman.
Can you see a Postman?
Yes, send the request without authentication now. Select no auth.
Yeah.
No auth and send it. Yeah, unauthorized. Guys, see, so we are trying to access one REST provider. We are trying to access one REST provider without passing authentication credentials. So it is giving unauthorized issue. Now, Let's send the authentication credentials and access the provider. Yes, we are able to access the provider by sending authentication details in the header. So the header name is authorization, username is John, password is John@123. So this is secured REST API with the basic authentication. Very good. Now try to access from the consumer application. Go to consumer. Show the consumer project. In the consumer, you are using REST template. Okay, you created REST template config. You configure the REST template bean. For the REST template, you configured interceptor. In the interceptor, you are setting the headers with the basic authentication, username and password. Okay, good. Then you are using that REST controller template,
Yes,
REST
ma'am.
template bean, and you are making a request with that REST template.
This is the URL for the ticket.
Okay, so directly in the REST template only you configure the basic authentication details and you are able to access. Show the
Yes.
REST template configuration class to the people. REST template config, maximize that. Control M. Yeah, guys, all of you observe. Akil developed a consumer which is used to access the provider. Our provider is secured by using basic authentication. So what he has done, he created one configuration class. To represent that class as a configuration class, he is using one annotation called @configuration annotation. Then he created one bean with a name called REST template, customizing the bean creation. REST template is a predefined class. He is creating the object for the predefined class. For that object, he is adding one interceptor. So that interceptor, client HTTP request interceptor he is adding. In that interceptor, in the request, he is adding the headers with the basic authentication. So John@123. The credentials he is setting to the interceptor. So whenever you use REST template, by default in the REST template request, we are sending a request by using REST template. When we are sending the request by using REST template, by default this header also will go in the request. The header will go with the basic authentication. Key will be authorization. Value is username is John@123. So whenever he want to send the request, he is using the REST template bean and he will send the request. In the REST template, he already configured basic authentication details. This is one approach to access secured provider. Good job, Akil. Can you run this client and show the output?
Yeah. So this is the client which is running on 8181.
Okay.
But
So
the
for client
actual-
also you have a REST API. This
Yeah.
REST API will access ticket REST API.
Yeah, ticket REST API is working on 919.
919. Okay.
This one is-
Send the request. Yes, he is able to send the request to the client application. Client application is communicating with the provider secured REST API. Client application using REST template to communicate with the provider. Provider is secured. Authentication details he is sending in the request header. Good job. Yes. How you got this logic, Akil? How you have done the research?
I just followed online actually.
Okay, where you find this logic? How you researched it? Because I have not explained this in the class.
I have gone through multiple things, but I found this is one of the most simplest one, and it is much easy to read.
Okay.
So I speak and tried it, so it worked fine. So then I experimented something, then it makes sense actually. So
Good job. So you have done some research and you are able to implement it.
yes,
That is most important for the developer because you should not dependent on someone for everything. Whenever there is a task, you need to research and you should be able to complete. Akil has completed this task. Good. Anyone else who completed this task, guys? Aftab, did you get the chance to complete this?
No, sir. I
Why?
have completed it 2 days. Sir.
Kal
Actually,
kyun nahi?
sir, I am was in traveling, sir.
Okay. Anyone else from this class who completed the given assignment? Developing a consumer application to access secured REST API. My REST API is secured with the basic authentication. How to access that secured REST API by using consumer? Akil completed that. What about remaining people? Any one person who completed this task? Yamuna?
I have completed, sir.
Yeah, can you share your screen?
Sir, I have connected from mobile. Will you give me some time? I'll
Yeah, please
connect.
join from laptop.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Only 2 people? Anyone else from this class who completed the given assignment? Anvita, did you complete? Hello, Anvita. Ashwini, Arjun, Channakrishna, Chenchvardhan. Mr. Chenchvardhan, did you complete this task?
Sir, not completed, sir.
Why? Why you have not completed?
Actually, I am unable to understand REST template that classes.
You are unable to understand REST API.
Yes.
మీకేం అర్థం కాలేదు REST API లో? Chenchvardhan, what you are not able to understand in the REST API? Could you please tell me? Come on, sir. What you are not able to understand in the REST API? I want to know that. What you are not able to understand in the REST API?
సార్ అది నేను ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయలేదు అంటే నాకు
Sorry?
నేను ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయలేదు సార్ అది REST template.
You have not practiced it.
Yes, sir.
Good job. Anyone else who completed? Kavita, did you complete the task? Guys, you people are very, very lazy. Right? So you already know how to develop a REST API. Okay? And I have explained how to secure that REST API. The only thing is you need to develop. I developed REST API in the class. I developed consumer in the class. I developed security. I just want you people to access secured REST API by developing one consumer. Simply you can use ChatGPT and you can search how to send HTTP basic auth credentials using REST template. Just go to ChatGPT and just search for this. How to send HTTP basic auth credentials by using REST template. Now it is giving the details for this. So Akil has implemented in one way and it is giving in the another way. So the REST template bean we are using. So what is your authentication details are available? You take the HTTP headers object which is used to send the headers in the request. Whatever your username and password is available, you combine that username and password by using colon. You encode them by using base 64. Then you set up to the headers.set authorization key, authorization header. You pass that headers object to HTTP entity object. That HTTP entity object you can pass to the exchange method URL get request entity string.class and send the request, get the body. These 4 lines of code you need to write in order to access secured provider. Our REST API is secured. We need to access that secured REST API by using REST template. So what they are doing, they're creating one HTTP headers object. So by using REST template, we want to send the headers in the request. Yesterday, I already gave the clue also how to access that secured provider, right? So this is our consumer application and this is our secured provider application. The provider is secured by using basic authentication with username and password. I need to send the authentication details in the request header from the consumer. For that we are using REST template or we can use web client. When you go for REST template, first we create the headers object to send the data in the request header. Then we will prepare our actual header with the key and value. Key is authorization, value is basic space, username colon password. That we are passing to HTTP entity object. Entity object we are passing as a parameter to exchange method. That we are passing as a parameter to exchange method. What is the difficulty in this? Then suppose if you want to send it by using web client, how to send HTTP basic auth credentials by using web client? You can develop a consumer by using REST template. You can develop a consumer by using web client. How to send the credentials by using REST template? Direct logic you are getting from the ChatGPT. How to send the details by using web client. Dot headers. Headers dot set basic auth, username and password. If you are sending a request by using web client, then this is the logic you need to write. If you are sending the request by using REST template, this is the logic you need to write. How much time it is taking to search for this logic, guys? 10 seconds. You people don't have 10 seconds of time in the last 24 hours. It's a shame on you. You are not interested to learn the things on your own. That is the problem. Nobody will teach you all these things in the company. Tomorrow when you join in the company, nobody will teach. You need to do the research and you need to develop. So very simple, whatever the requirement I have given, develop consumer application to access REST API which is secure. So you can develop a consumer by using REST template, or you can develop the consumer by using web client. So in the Google also you can search for that. In the ChatGPT you can search for that. How to send HTTP basic auth credentials in REST template. Right, basic auth with the Spring REST template. Direct tutorials are available. Credentials provider, HTTP client, the logic is available. Okay, then you can check for another URL also. N number of examples are there in the internet. You should know how to research in the internet. Okay, basic authentication for the REST API using Spring REST template. Check this URL. So same logic. Username colon password. Get bytes, encode them, convert into string. Set this as a headers using authorization key and value. The direct logic is available. REST template builder is available. You can configure that. So this is the logic which you can use to send the request with the basic authentication credentials. If you want to send group of requests, in this way you can do. REST template you can customize. For every request, if you want to send separately, you can set like this. Okay, so how to use basic authentication with the REST template? If you just type that question in the Google, you will get hundreds of solutions. How to use authentication with the Spring Boot REST template in the Spring Boot. How to send that logic, how to send that header in the REST template. Basic authentication. So basic authentication you can configure like this with username with password. Basic authentication example. Headers.authorization. Basic auth details we need to send. Okay, so instead of doing the research in the Google, now we have a beautiful tool called ChatGPT. So just I'm typing how to send basic auth credentials using REST template. It is giving the logic. You need to create a project by using this web starter, and you can configure REST template as a Spring Bean. For that REST template, you can use this logic to send the request with the basic authentication. HTTP headers we need to send in the request. Basic authentication details we are going to send in the HTTP header. Key name is authorization. Value is basic space, encoded username and password. So basically, we need to send the details like this. Authorization is equal to basic space base64 dot encode our username colon password. So this is what you need to send in the request. Even when we are accessing the secured REST API from the Postman will prepare the request with this header. If you are sending the request from the other application, programmatically you need to set this header to send the request. How to prepare this header programmatically? So for that they are doing like this. So they are taking string credentials is equal to username colon password. Whatever the username is already available, which we want to send, then password we are taking. Then by using base64 dot get encoder dot encode that username and password, whatever that you are having. Encode the credentials. Whenever you encode those credentials, it is going to give the byte array, encoded credentials. Encoded credentials it will give you in the byte array. Convert that into string. String str is equal to new string of whatever the encoded credentials are available, we are going to pass to the string object. it will convert them into str. So this is header value, auth header value, whatever that we want to send. So I know what username and password I need to send in the request. I need to send my username and password to the API to access. Consumer should send its username and password to the API. How to send it? In this format, I need to send it. So this is the format I need to use to send it. Okay. So I'm taking my username and password. I'm preparing one variable for that. String credentials is equal to username colon password. I want to encode those credentials by using base 64. Base 64 dot get encoder dot encode the credentials. Encoded credentials will come in the byte array. Then I'm converting that byte array into string object by using string class constructor. So with this we are good. Now I need to set this as a header. How to set this as a header? Header key is authorization. Header value is the encoded credentials. Okay. So header value that we need to take it as a basic. Right. Now string header key is equal to authorization. Header key is authorization and header value, whatever the value I'm taking. String header value. Header value will start with the basic space, whatever the value that we got. So this is the actual encoded username and password that I am converting into header value, basic space, that header value I am getting. Header key is authorization. So we need to set this data to the HTTP headers. So HTTP headers object I need to create. Headers is equal to new HTTP headers. Then headers dot add. Headers dot add. Header key, comma, header value. Whatever the key is available and whatever the value is available, we need to add. So we prepared the header key and header value here. That header key and header value I'm setting to the HTTP headers object. That HTTP headers object I will pass to HTTP entity object. New HTTP entity, for that we are going to pass headers object. Now, so this HTTP entity contains our headers. Headers contains a header key and a header value. Header key is authorization. Header value basic space that encoded username and password. Now by using this, I will send the request. REST template dot not get for entity. If you use get for entity, only it will send the get request to the URL. But I want to send the get request along with the header in the request. If you use get for entity URL, comma, string dot class, it will send only get request to the URL and it is expecting the response in the string format. But I don't want to send only get request. I want to send the get request along with this header. I want to send the get request along with the headers in the get request. If you want to send headers in the get request by using REST template, you should not go for get for entity method. What you need to use? REST template dot exchange method you need to use. For this exchange method, API URL and HTTP method dot get method, HTTP entity object, string dot class, I am expecting the response in the string format. So this is the logic we need to write in order to access a secured provider. Just you need to know how to send basic authentication header details by using REST template. So we are taking the credentials that we want to send, username and password. Those credentials we are encoding by using byte 64 get encoder. The byte array we are converting into string object. We are taking the key as authorization. We are taking the value. Basic is a fixed keyword. Basic space, encoded username and password. Then what we will do? We will create one HTTP headers object. For the headers object, we are adding our header key and header value. That headers key and header value we are setting to headers object. Headers object we are passing to entity object. Entity object we are passing to exchange method. What is the purpose of this exchange method? It is used to send the request to the given URL. Get request I want to send to the given API URL. In that get request I want to send the entity. This entity contains a headers and I want to get the response in the string format, which is going to return response entity object for us, which is going to give the response entity object. From this response entity, we will get the body. Response entity object we are going to send. Then what we will get? Response dot get body. So whatever the body that is given by the provider, you will get that body. Then you can just use system.out.println of body. That's it. This is the logic you need to do. This is used to send a GET request to the provider with the basic authentication details in the request header. This is the logic that we need to develop to access secured provider. So this is the approach by using REST template. The same logic is given by ChatGPT also. They're taking the username and password, they're encoding, converting into header value, setting that by using key comma value. Authorization is the key, value is basic space encoded username and password. Then they are creating HTTP head entity object. For the entity object constructor, they are passing the headers. The headers entity, they are passing to the exchange method. And first parameter is API URL, second parameter is request method, third parameter is HTTP entity, fourth parameter is response they are expecting. Then they will get the response object, response.getBody. That will give the response from the provider. You guys are not able to develop these 4 lines of code in the last 24 hours. Develop consumer application to access above secured REST API. You can do that by using REST template, or you can do that by using web client. Are you guys able to understand this logic? Are you guys able to understand this logic? You can reduce this logic, cut this logic. We can convert like this. Here headers dot not add, it is set method. Headers dot set method. Key comma value. Key is authorization. Value is the basic space encoded username and password.
Sir, I have connected from laptop. Shall I share the screen?
Yes, yes. Guys, remaining people, only out of 70 people, only 2 people completed. One is Akil, second one is Yamuna. The remaining 68 people not done the task. The task is not difficult. The problem is your mindset. Sir has given the assignment. We have done 8,000 rupees payment for the Ashok sir. Sir has to explain the concept. If you have that mindset, you will not grow in your career. If you are depending on somebody for completely to learn the concept, you can't grow in your career. You can't survive in the IT as a developer. That is the biggest problem you are going to face. Getting the job is easy. Surviving in the job is difficult, guys. Remember my words. Getting the job is easy. Surviving in the job is difficult. Every day new task will come. Every day new challenge will be there. You need to research and you need to implement. Whatever the course we are teaching, whatever the topics we are covering, these topics, this course will help you to get the job, not to survive in the job. Survival is your efforts. How much research you are doing, how independently you are working, that decide your survival in the company. A simple task I have given that you are not able to do it. First of all, you did not try to do that. That is the problem. If you try just 30 minutes, more than sufficient. And Google searching technique is very important. If you don't know something, you should try to learn that. For Akil also, I have not explained this concept. For Yamuna also, I have not explained this concept. But they are able to do it. That means they are doing some research and they are learning and they are doing. But you guys are not doing the research. That is the problem. Sir has to explain everything. How many days? Next 1 week, batch will complete. And one person is saying, I have not practiced REST API. Course is going to complete in. So officially, Spring Security is the last topic in the syllabus. He is saying not practiced. When he will practice? Pure student mindset. I can't do anything. Guys, are you able to understand this logic? how to send basic authentication credentials in the request header by using REST template. This is the logic we got from the ChatGPT. Same logic we can use to send the GET request to the provider. You need to develop a consumer application. In that consumer application, you need to use this logic. Provider will tell what is the username and password that you need to send in the request. That username and password you need to send in the request header in this format. To access secured REST API, we need to send basic authentication details in the below format. So how to prepare this? REST template with a basic authentication header. REST template with basic authentication header. REST template with basic authentication header. So to access secured REST API, to access secured REST API, we need to send basic auth credentials in request header like below. Key is authorization, value, basic space, encoded username and password. How to prepare this header? By using Java program. And how to send this header? By using REST template. REST template with basic authentication header. Username, password. So I am encoding them by using base64. This is a class which is available in java.util package. Java.util.base64 getEncoder.encode. Whatever the username password is available, we are encoding, that is coming in the byte array. So that header key, header value we are preparing. Okay, that header key and header value I'm setting to the HTTP headers. It is a predefined class in the Spring Web MVC. That headers we are passing to HTTP entity object. Then I am sending exchange method. I'm calling exchange method. So generally we can call get for entity method. When you go for get for entity, only you can send the get request. You can't send the headers in the request. To send the headers in the request, you need to call REST template exchange method. So which URL you want to access, what request you want to send, what data you want to send, what response you are expecting. Total 4 parameters I am passing for the exchange method. First parameter will represent URL of the provider. Second parameter, what type of request. Third parameter, what data you want to send in the request. Get request will not have the body. Only headers I am sending in the get request by using HTTP entity. After sending this request, I want response in the string format. So which will be returning response entity. That response entity I am using to call the get body. I am getting the body I am printing on the console. So this is the logic to access secured REST API by using REST template. Yamuna, can you show your logic, how you implemented?
Yes, sir. I have implemented the same logic you explained, sir.
Yeah, share your screen.
Yes, sir. I'm sharing.
Yes.
This is a provider application.
Okay.
I'm writing 2 methods.
Okay. Get method and greet method. Okay.
Yes, and for this one for slash, I'm not giving any authentication in the
Okay.
filters. For this one only, we want to give authentication
Okay.
details.
So welcome. Where is the security configuration? Open your security configuration class.
Yes, sir. This is
Okay. So you are giving the in-memory authentication details only. For slash, you
yes.
want to allow. The remaining URLs you want to secure. Very good. Yeah. Run your
I
provider.
already started. Yeah, I started both the provider and the consumer and trying to access. Yeah, it's for this one. I'm not giving any authentication. So it's coming. And for the second one,
For greet without
one?
authentication, try
Yeah,
to
yes, sir.
access without authentication.
Yeah,
You are
unauthorized.
not able to access. Excellent.
Yes, and I'm giving the authentication details. I have given username as user and password as user 123.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it is
You are able
returning.
to access provider by sending authentication details in the postman. Now guys,
Yes.
observe, when we are sending the details in the postman, we are selecting the authentication type as a basic auth, username and password we are sending. What postman will do? Go to header section, Yamuna. In the
Yes,
header
sir.
section, go to the author. See here, one header it is sending by default. The key is authorization. The value is encoded, basic space encoded username and password it will send in the request. That is the reason we are able to access. If this header is not sending, then we can't access that. Yes, now that's fine.
Yeah, this one also we can see like it will show basic and space.
Basic
like that.
space encoded username password will be available. That
Yes,
is a
sir.
format, standard format for basic authentication. Everybody will follow that. Now show me your consumer.
So I started my consumer also. I applied both by using REST template and web client. I tried both.
Yes.
And yeah, REST template in the headers
Let's see
we
here how
basically
she
have.
is sending that authentication details by using REST template. REST template object she created in the line number 23. In the line number 25, she encoded that username and password and converted into string format. In the line number 27, yes, I got that. In the line number 27, she created the object for HTTP headers. Then in the line number 28, she is adding the headers to that. Key is authorization, value is basic space, credentials, whatever she encoded. In the line number 30, she created the entity object by passing headers object. In the line number 31, she is calling exchange method with 4 parameters. First parameter is provider URL. Second parameter, what type of request you want to send. Third parameter, HTTP headers in the form of entity. Fourth parameter, response she is expecting in the string format. So when we call exchange method, it will send the get request to that URL along with the basic authentication details in the request header. Header key is authorization, header value, basic space, credentials. Okay. Then next up. So she is calling that get body method. So which will give the response from the, which will receive the response from the provider and she is returning that response. So the first method is sending the get request by using REST template with basic auth credentials. Second method, she is creating the web client object by using create webclient.get.uri and she is calling dot header method directly to send the authorization details in the request header. Excellent. And dot retrieve method body to mono dot block. She is sending a get request by using web client also and she is receiving the response. Yes, you can run them and show that. In both
Yeah,
ways.
I already started the both applications and
Okay.
it is consumer application. It is running on port number 8081.
Very good. She is accessing consumer application which is going to send the request to the provider with authentication. Yes, send the request. Yes,
Yeah,
she got the response.
I actually I'm adding hi also. That's why it's
Yes,
giving like.
whatever the response you are getting from the provider, for that you are appending hi. Okay.
Yes.
So that is the proof to say that our consumer is able to access the provider is secured and we are able to access it. Very good.
Another URL, sir. This is by using web client.
Okay. By
It is
using
also
web client also you are able to access. Perfect.
yeah, yes.
Good
This is
job.
directly depending on this.
Yeah.
Thank
How
you.
much time it took for you, Emuna, to implement this logic?
1 hour like that happens, sir.
Yeah. How you have done the research of this?
Like in ChatGPT and Google, sir.
In the ChatGPT and Google you have done the research. Very good.
Yes.
The remaining people are not able to do that also. Copy paste. Right, guys. So she is able to complete with both REST template and web client. So by using REST template, you can send the details in the request header by using HTTP entity. So web client with the basic authentication details in the header. How you need to do this by using web client. Okay. So how to send HTTP request by using web client. REST template is a class which is used to develop a consumer. By using REST template, we can send the GET request or POST request, whatever you want. Similarly, by using web client also, we can do that. Web client with the basic authentication header. So when we are going for web client with the basic authentication header, what is the first step? So we are going to use first web client dot create method. Web client dot create method, which is going to give you the implementation object for web client object. As web client is an interface, you cannot create the object directly. So you need to use a factory method, web client dot create method, which is going to give the implementation object for your web client. Then once you got this client object, using the client object, we can send GET request. Okay, client dot get. I want to send a GET request. To whom? Dot URI. You can specify the API URL to whom you want to send the request. And earlier we used dot retrieve method. Directly we used dot retrieve method, and we used body to mono. We used body to mono string dot class we have used. Then we are calling dot block method. Okay, which is going to return the data in the form of mono object. Okay, so we are going to get the response in the form of mono of string response we are expecting. Okay, so response dot block we are calling, so directly we are going to get the string response. Whatever the string response you are getting, that response you can print on the console. So by using, earlier we have done this approach, system.out.println of response we are accessing, that we are printing on the console. So when we can write this kind of logic we can write in order to access a provider which is not expecting any security tokens in the header. So this is basic web client example, how to send a GET request by using web client. Web client is an interface which supports for sending both synchronous request and asynchronous request. We have seen that example also, how to send a synchronous request and how to send the asynchronous request also. If you use a block method, then it will send a synchronous request. If you use a subscribe method, then it will send the asynchronous request. You got it. Now client.get, I want to send a GET request. To whom? To API, that is .URI. That API URL I am sending. To this API URL, I want to send a GET request. Then I want to retrieve the response, and I want to convert that response into string object, and I want to wait for the response. So .get method represents we want to send a GET request. To whom we want to send a GET request? By using .URI. And I want to retrieve the response, and I want to map the response to the string by using body to mono, and I want to wait for the response, .block method. So this logic will work out when you are accessing a provider which is not secured. This logic will work out when you access a provider which is not having the security. But our provider is not plain. Our provider is secured. How the provider is secured? By using basic authentication. I know the username and password. I need to send that username and password in the request header. Then only provider will allow the request. Otherwise, provider will not allow the request. By using REST template, we are able to send that details. These details we are able to send in the request. Key is authorization. Value is basic space, this information. But how to send that data in the web client? So I want to send authorization header details in the request header. For this, after URI, I am calling .header method. The header key is authorization. This is predefined, comma, header value, basic space. Then I can write my encoded username and password. So like this, whatever this is available, encoded credentials are there now. You can take this encoded credentials. You can convert that into value, string format. Okay. So basic space, new string of our encoded credentials you can pass. Whatever the credentials are available, those credentials I can pass. So this, if you add this line in the web client, then it will send that authentication details in the request header in order to access our secured provider. This is web client approach to access secured provider. Just we are adding dot header method. For that we are setting what is the key and what is the value. If you go for REST template, we are configuring in the entity we are passing as a parameter to exchange method. This is the assignment I have given yesterday. Only 2 people completed. Anybody not able to understand this logic? Guys, anybody not able to understand this logic? Anybody not able to understand this logic? Anybody not able to understand this logic? Any questions, anybody, from these 2 ways of accessing secured provider?
Sir, when using from one microservices to call other microservices,
Huh.
at the end of the debug mode. So, if suppose I'm taking a time to debug from one microservice to or goes to another microservices, so why web client throws me a timeout exception, sir?
You can set you can increase the timeout, sir. Maybe because of network communication, it is taking more time. In that time, it is not able to. There is a given limit. Some limit will be available by default. Within the limit, if you are not able to get the response, then it will throw the error. You can increase the timeout.
But it's happening only in the web client only. It's not happening with the fin client, not happening with the REST template.
You can increase the time limits for the web client. You can search how to increase the timeout configuration, how to increase the limit for timeouts.
So if we'll set the timeout action timeout, so if the performance wise maybe impact.
No, sir. Timeout, basically we are telling to web client to wait this much time. Within that given time, if it is not getting the response, it will give the error. If it gives the response within the time limit, then no problem. There is no performance effect on this.
So basically web client is synchronous or asynchronous?
By default synchronous. If you want, you can make asynchronous.
Okay.
I already explained in the class. If you go with the block method, it is a synchronous. If you go with the subscribe method, it is asynchronous.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes, sir, got it. Because timeout exception fetching, so it's another
Yeah.
for that.
Guys, people who did not complete this task yesterday, are you able to understand the solution for that? By using REST template, you can work like this. By using web client, you can work like this. Please confirm. If you are clear, type a message understood. If you are not able to understand, let me know. I will explain. Based on the confirmation, we'll go for the next topic.
I understood, sir.
All of you, please respond in the chat box. Able to understand, not able to understand. Able to understand or not able to understand? I'm not getting any response. If you are not responding, what I need to do? Should I proceed or should I wait?
Understand, sir. Take next.
Understood. Very good. So the thing is, you are not trying anything on your own. That is the problem. People, change your mindset. Try to do the things on your own. Next requirement in the Spring Security. So next requirement is little challenging task only, guys. We need to develop one REST API where we need to add user registration and user login. Develop a REST API with the two functionalities. One is login functionality, another one is registration functionality. One is login functionality, another one is registration functionality. Develop Spring Boot REST API. Develop Spring Boot REST API with below two functionalities using Spring Security. Using Spring Security. So the first one, user registration, and the second one, user login. First one, user registration, and the second one is user login. Whenever user registered, we need to store user data in the database table. Password should be stored with the encrypted value. Passwords we don't store directly in the database table. Whatever the password user is giving, that password should be stored in the database in the encrypted format, not directly, guys. Okay, so we need to encrypt the password and we need to store that password into our database, right? So develop Spring Boot REST API with below two functionalities using Spring Security. One is user registration and the second one is user login. When user registered, user registration. For the user registration, we are going to take name, email, password and phone number. For the user login, we will take email ID and password. Okay, when user, note one that you need to remember, when user registered, we need to store user data. We need to store user data in database table by encrypting user password. Password should not be stored into database table directly. So if you give password as abc@123, that password should be stored into table with the encryption. Okay. Now, second approach, when user login, when user try to login, if credentials are valid, send welcome message as a response. If credentials are invalid, then send invalid credentials message. Invalid credentials message as response. There is a trick here. User will give original password at the time of registration, but we will store that password in the database by encrypting. When user try to log in, again he will give the original password, but in the database, encrypted password will be available. First time user will register by giving name, email, password and phone number. Okay, name, email, password and phone number will be available. You will take the data from the postman and you will insert the record by encrypting the password into, you will store the password by with encryption. But when user try to log in, email ID and password they will give. User will give original password, but in the database, encrypted password will be available. Okay. So when user register, we need to store user data in the database table by encrypting user password. When user try to log in, if credentials are valid, send welcome message as response. If credentials are invalid, then send invalid credential message as response. Are you clear with my requirement? Are you clear with my requirement? Come on.
Okay, sir.
Right. Now, to develop this application, we need to use below concepts. To develop the above application, tech stack. To develop the above requirement, we need to use below tech stack. Okay? Or we need to use below dependencies. Or we need to use below tech stack. Not we need to develop the above requirement, we need to use below dependencies. You need to use data JPA. First one, we need to use web starter. And we need to communicate with the database by using data JPA starter. Then you can go with either MySQL database or Oracle database or H2. Anything is fine. Any one database we need to store the data. It can be MySQL or it can be Oracle or it can be H2. And the next one, we need to use security starter. And we need to use DevTools. These are the dependencies.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this is Ashwini's.
Yeah.
Sir, you're giving tasks we can find from ChatGPT and we can do that one. But in real time, on board, they will give the single line of requirement. My problem is how to find that class, how to find that method, and how can we do the changes.
So you need to do the analysis. Did you join for the project course?
Yes, sir.
Are you in
But
the Java
I'm
project
working
batch?
in company.
Sorry?
Yes, sir. I'm working in company also. Means
Okay, so did you
by
join our
seeing
Java real-time
that.
project course? I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
So in that I explained, right, how to analyze the requirement, how to design the classes, how to design the methods.
Not about the designing classes. By seeing that statement, how we can find that the way we can change that code.
That is the analysis, madam. That is what we need to learn.
Okay.
Whatever the requirement they are giving, you need to understand the requirement and you need to design the requirement. You need to analyze what are the tables required for that, what are the classes required for that, what are the methods required for that, how to do the coding, how to debug that, how to test it, how to work with the team. That is the main thing that we are doing in the project course, right? So there are some people who are from the project batch also. Anybody who is from the project batch here? Gopal, you are from the project batch also, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what we are learning in the project batch. Can you tell me how it is helping you?
Yeah, currently we are learning major project. Here
Mhm.
we have gathered all up all
No.
of
Tell me
involving.
from mini projects onwards. How we have learned the mini projects?
We have learned 2 mini projects.
Mhm.
Currently, you send the one document. Based on document, we decided which table we need, which database we need. We analysis and created the 2 mini project.
Mhm.
And later on, we inside second mini project, we use that dynamic search filter, which is country states based on country. So it will give us state and cities.
Correct.
And this third project is major project, which is a microservice based project. Here we develop e-commerce applications,
Mhm.
product category based on category. It will give us products.
Correct. So is there any improvement in your analysis skill after doing the projects? 2 mini
I-
projects and 1 major project.
Yes, it's improve my skills and analysis also. Which database we need to, how to analysis database name. So which variables we need to create database.
Correct. So in the project classes, Ashwini, that is what I'm telling. In the project classes, we will take the mini projects requirement and we will analyze what are the tables we need to do, what are the classes we need to take, what are the methods we need to take, how to develop them. 2 mini projects we developed, and currently we are going with the e-commerce project development that is almost completed. So by this weekend, that major project also will be completed. So it's a teamwork. So in the real time,
Yes, sir.
nobody will
This is
in
from
the
scratch now,
in the real time,
but
people
in
will not tell you the
already
complete
exists.
details.
Okay.
When we are working in the real time project, people will not tell you the complete details. They will give you one single statement and they will ask you to analyze and they will ask you to,
That's what the problem, sir.
yeah, they will give you single statement. The requirement will be explained in the single statement and they will ask you to develop that. So that's where your analysis skills comes into picture. You need to analyze the requirement in the 360 degrees. You need to ask the questions if you are not able to understand. Once you got the clarifications, then you need to start the designing from the DB side first. Then you need to design the classes and methods. Then you need to develop. Then you need to test, code review, code integration, code build, code deployment, code delivery. So the complete SDLC process you need to take care of in the project, and you need to do all these things on your own, independent. Nobody will help you in the company because everybody will be busy with their work. You got my
Yes, sir.
point?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What are the challenges you are facing in the company?
By seeing the statement, I'm not able to find the which class I have to change.
So is there anybody helping you in the company?
No one will help.
No one will help. So the people,
Yes.
please understand,
If
from
we
day
ask
one
manager also,
onwards,
he will.
from day one onwards, I'm telling more than 100 times I told, self-learning is important, analysis is important, research is important. From day one onwards, I'm telling you, today I am here. You paid money for me. You paid 8,000 rupees for me. That's why I'm teaching the subject for you. Everything I'm teaching from the scratch. With live coding, I'm explaining each and everything. Line by line code, I'm writing. I'm explaining. And I'm giving the running notes. I'm giving the workspace examples also. But tomorrow, the story is completely different. You check with the Ashwini. She is doing the job and she is struggling in the job because she's not able to understand the requirements properly. They are giving single statement requirement.
Yes.
And they are not helping. Everything you need to do. Nobody will sit with you. Nobody will write the code for you. Every day new requirement, every day new task. Self-learning you should know. Searching, research, Google, YouTube, ChatGPT. So many platforms are there. You need to research. You need to search with your requirement. Get the requirement code. As it is, that code may not work. You need to customize that code according to your requirement. That knowledge is required. How to search in the Google, how to search in the ChatGPT, how to copy that code, how to modify that code according to our project scenario. That is the important skill. That skill, if you have, you can survive in the job. If you don't know that searching technique, you cannot survive in the job. Is there anyone who is already working in the company? Apart
Even
from us,
after copy paste also, JUnits will fail finally.
sorry?
Even after copy paste, JUnits will fail at the deployment time. It will be a hectic problem, sir.
Yeah, unit testing with the J units, that is another challenge. How many years experience you have?
2 years, sir.
2 years experience. Okay, good. Anyone else who is working in this batch? Can you share your experience, sir? Anvita is working. Anvita Kammampati. Can you unmute and speak out? Hello, Anvita Kammampati.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Actually, I have joined with my, I think my daughter would have joined it. Based on that, I
Your
joined
name,
after.
sir?
My name is Srinivas, sir.
Srinivas. Okay,
Yeah,
hi Srinivas. Could
yeah,
you introduce about yourself, Srinivas?
yeah. Actually, have been working in the software industry for the past 20 years, sir. I'm a senior project manager, and
Okay,
my basic work experience is in mainframe technologies.
okay,
And right now, they are planning to migrate all the mainframe projects to distributed. That's why I started learning the Java. I learned Java in Naresh IT Technologies with Hari Krishna.
okay.
Later, I got to know from one of my friends that you are a good faculty, that you teach this Springboard.
Frameworks.
Yeah, yeah. So I joined in this.
So, are you happy? What is the difference you have seen there and here?
I am very happy the way that you are explaining, but the problem I am facing is I am not getting enough time to practice. So only in the weekend, that too with the limited hours only, I am getting the time because of the hectic project schedules.
Okay.
So that is the problem that I am facing. Other than that, you are teaching very well, sir, and the way that you are explaining the things is really. I am getting some confidence on Java right now after I joined in this course.
Very good, sir. Thank you. So, can you share, sir, how the work culture will be there? Because there are some freshers in this batch. So, you have seen, right? Out of 70 people, only 2 people completed the task. Okay,
It's
some
all
people are working, they don't
it,
have time. The
it's
remaining
all
people who are freshers,
correct,
they
sir.
have lot of time, but they are not realizing the importance of self-learning.
So because of this agile methodology, every day there is a scrum call happens, sir. So by
Yes,
that time you have to tell what you have done on that day and
correct.
how much percentage you have completed. And they will give some time, but the thing is, you have to be a self learner, and you also need to associate with the team members to share the things and get the details. Definitely, they will help you. It's not like a kind of a assignment or a punishment, but you should be a self learner as well as you have to have an end to till you settle in the company. So you have to work hard, you have to work more hours, and there shouldn't be any time bound, right? Like to join to work in that company, right? Like people thinks right, like there are only 8 hours that I have to stay, but in that 8 hours, the productive hours only 3 hours, or rest of the hours are go for chatting and other things, right? Like you have to stretch hours. If you go to office only when you complete the task, then only you have to come back. In that mindset you should have it, sir.
Yeah, correct. So the freshers, the problem with the freshers here, sir, as you are having more experience than me. I am having only 11 years experience in IT. You are 20 years experience person. You have seen more projects, more clients and all. The problem with the freshers, they are completely dependent on the trainer. They don't want to try anything on their own. Whatever trainer will explain, they will do only half of the practice. They will not do the complete practice also. They will
Yeah.
feel that they are learning something, but the reality, zero. They are not able to learn the concepts on their own. They are not trying that first of all. Whatever faculty will explain, then only they will listen. Otherwise, they will not learn.
Till they are comfortable, they have to work very hard, sir, even in the project, right? Like because every day in this agile process, earlier we used to work with waterfall, right? Like there you have enough time and there won't be much status reviews. not even
Correct.
weekly ones. But now every day they screw us. And if you are not able to complete the task within 2 weeks, then the charts would run back on the Jira, right? Like that would impact the sprint score. So you have to
Correct.
be very cautious in the agile model.
Correct, sir. Good. Fine. Freshers, please listen to his words and realize, change your mindset. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to get the job. And after getting the job, then more challenges you need to face. If you are not a self-learner, you should try to learn the concept on your own. That self-learning, over a night, you will not become expert in that. It's a continuous process. It's a continuous approach. Every day you need to do that. So when you don't know something, you should try to research on that. Then you will get more knowledge. Good, Srinivas, for sharing your experience. Anyone else
And
who is working in this batch?
and more travel during the weekends also would we have to control that, because Monday would be go off and Friday they start early. So the productive of days only from Tuesday to Thursday. So
Correct.
if they go very frequently to
Yes, sir. That's true.
yeah, yes, sir.
The remaining people, anyone who is working in this batch, working employee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Vijay. Hi, Vijay.
Yeah.
Can you share your experience? Can you give some guidance to freshers in this batch?
Yes, sure. So myself, Vijay, I have around 17 years overall experience. I throughout my career, I worked on standalone and standalone application predominantly. I worked on Eclipse RCP, especially in the product-based companies. I worked more into core Java development. I worked. I didn't get opportunity to work on the web applications.
Okay.
So recently, I got opportunity to work on microservices based applications, since I'm learning Spring Boot. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Good.
One thing I liked the way you are teaching. So the thing is, one point I liked is whenever if you go to any institute, people are busy with writing on the books, not
Right.
concentrating on the concept.
Correct.
So here you are giving notes. That is very much important here. Okay. So we can focus on concept instead of focusing on the writing. Okay.
Correct.
And that is the one point I liked it. And the way you are teaching, like you are explaining the concept in the real-time concepts. Okay. And also every like a few classes after like every topic, you are revising all the things what we have learned it. So that is very important. Like it is then we'll get opportunity like oh really we completed these things like that. We are
These many
getting
topics we covered.
yes. That is the very important. And also you started I gave one suggestion about preparing a Word document where like you are, in addition to the notes, you are also explaining some diagrammatic things,
Correct.
architecture. So that is very important. Like if you read one page of like a text, if you show one diagram, it is a valuable. So
Correct,
that
sir.
is the reason I like you are drawing a lot of diagrams, but we are not putting that.
Correct.
So I thought those are very valuable. Like I like in my experience, like I got opportunity to train around 18 freshers, my
Okay.
like different projects. So while explaining to them, if we explain like a text, they won't understand. If you take a diagram and all, if you're explaining, they are easily connecting. Okay.
Correct, sir.
And also one important point to the freshers who are learning it. Suppose sir is teaching some concept. Okay. So when you are trying, some exception coming. Sir, exception is coming. So like that, like whoever I'm giving a training, they are coming like that. So I'll ask them to. So you should not approach like this. If any exception is coming, first you have to try that. what exception is coming, where it is coming, which kind of exception it. First, do some analysis your side. Then ask the mentor, okay, sir, I'm trying this approach, I'm getting this exception this way, like that, so that you will learn something. Like while you are analyzing that perspective, you will able to fix that. If you simply say that, sir, exception is coming, please check it, that is not the correct. That is the one suggestion I'll give you. So if you are anything you are working on that, try yourself. Like if any exception is coming, why this exception is coming, when it is coming. So try that. Still, if you are not able to fix that, then take a mentor help. So if you go that approach, you will learn a lot of things.
Good, sir. And can you tell them about self-learning for them? They are very, very, very lag in that. Guys, we need to consider Srinivas sir words and Vijay sir words, because they are having around 17 to 20 years of experience in the IT. You realize after having this much experience, they are spending some time for learning. So that means you should know the value of this learning. They are having 15 years experience, 20 years experience, and still they are spending some time to upskill themselves. That is the industry demand. If you don't upskill, you can't survive. Always you should be a student. How many days you want to there in the IT industry? Those many days you need to be a student only. Every day you have to learn. And daily. So I'm having 11 years experience. I will learn every weekend, whenever I get some time, I have to learn some concept. I have to upgrade myself, because I am not that completely strong in the Java. So it is daily learning process. Every day I have to learn. If I want to teach something, first I have to learn.
And one more thing, sir, I strongly suggest those who have not taken the video backup option, they have to take, sir, because after these classes, right, if they want to listen and practice, that really helps actually.
Yeah, right. Yep. Thank you, sir. Vijay, sir, for giving your suggestions for the people. Anyone else who is having experience working in the company?
Sir,
Yamuna.
presently I'm
sir.
Yeah, hi Yamuna. Yamuna is also working professional. Hi Yamuna. Can you share some details about your experience and your knowledge?
Yeah, sir. Previously I was working. I have 3 years of experience. After that, I have some gap,
Okay.
career gap, and after that, I tried to learn this Spring Boot and microservices with another person, and what they did, they in the middle they stopped without
Okay.
completing the course. So like that I got the job, but basics I know, I'm not like sure. So so I joined here, and now I'm doing well. 2 months back only I joined my company.
Again, you
see.
joined back in the company after gap. How many years gap you got? Career gap?
So 7-8 years is there, sir.
7-8 years career back is there, and again you back to IT industry.
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. And how is your job currently?
Presently, recently I'm been allocated to a project. Have to see how it goes.
Okay, is there anybody who is helping you in the company?
No, sir.
Nobody will help in the company.
You
Guys,
have to mingle with the team, Yamuna. There's definitely you will get more help from them initial days. Then after that you can cope up on your own.
Self-learning, that pressure should realize. So you should not depend on someone. You may say like this, sir, we have done the payment for the course, you have to teach me each and everything. Okay, I will teach. That's not a problem. But after the course, what is the scenario? So you need to habituate for the concepts to learn. Some research. I'm not asking you to learn everything on your own. Whatever I have explained, based on that, I'm giving some assignment. If you try those assignments on your own, then you will get more knowledge. You will get more confidence. You will know more searching techniques. So I felt very bad today because I have given one simple assignment which will take only 15 minutes of time. But only 2 people completed that. So I felt very bad today regarding this scenario. Good, Yamuna. Sujit?
Yeah, hi sir, good morning.
Hi, good morning,
So,
Sujit. Can you share your
correct,
details?
sure. So currently I'm working on a company and having 4+ years of experience.
Mhm.
When I joined initially a company, I got an opportunity to work in Java, and
Mhm.
even I got training in Java initially. But
Mhm.
later on, when the project moved to new project, I
Mhm.
got a opportunity to work in Hybris.
Okay.
So in Hybris, I got opportunity to work as a consultant, not a developer. So
Okay.
I worked for 3 years, but
Mhm.
later on I want to move in development parts. So that's what I started learning Java with microservices and this Spring Boot. So
Okay.
I joined your class. I researched multiple things. I joined the offline classes yours in
Okay.
this batch itself. Later I
Okay.
moved to my native. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good, Sujit. So how you are getting the help in the company? How the tasks are coming to you?
Uh, since it's a kind of support perspective project, so it's not needed much help. But whenever it's needed, I need to see some videos from internet or some things from internet. Nobody will help uh, completely, but they'll give some knowledge, but they don't share much because they have their own task. They have to do it. So yeah,
Yes,
like
everybody is
giving it
busy.
to yeah.
Good, Sujit. So you are happy with your work now?
Yeah, I'm trying to move to in development parts. Let's see how it goes after
Okay,
this
good.
training and my practice. Yeah.
Good, Sujit. Good. Anyone else?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hi, sir. Hello.
Can you share some demo resumes for the pressure, sir?
Yeah, please, sir. Go ahead. You can share. Hello. You can unmute and you can speak out, sir.
No, sir. I asked, can you share some demo resumes for the freshers, sir? Freshers.
For freshers, you want me to give some suggestions?
No, sir. Resume. Resume. How to prepare resume, sir?
Resume preparation. Okay, sir. I will explain this resume preparation part. I will take a class for that. I will take a class how to prepare the resume and all. Yeah. Any other person, working person, anybody facing challenges in the company? Can you share your challenges that what you are facing in the company so that freshers will get some information so that they will change their mindset at least from now? Any working professional here?
Sir, I am Purna Chandra.
Yeah, hi Purna.
So I have around
Purna, there is background noise from your side, Purna. Your voice is not audible properly.
right now.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
No, sir. Voice is not clear. Purna, your voice is not clear.
so I will
Purna, bad luck. No, it's not audible properly. Anyone else, guys?
Hi, sir. This is Subbu. Yeah, I have 7 years of experience.
Yeah, hi
First of
Subbu.
all, I
Please go
have to
ahead.
say your teaching is very well, sir. The way of teaching, the
Sir,
way of teaching it, really good, sir.
thank you,
And
sir. Can you give some
whatever,
suggestions to freshers, Subbu?
yes, sir, definitely. Some challenges are every day is there, sir. So always, whatever you said, that is correct point, sir. We have to analyze and we have to understand the code. Self efforts are more needed, sir. But it somewhat helps and this Google chat and everything. And but sometimes we may get help from the other persons, like from colleagues, or we may not get. That depends upon the team also, sir. But always we need to learn. Self motivation is needed, and moreover, hard work is needed, sir, till the end of the completion of the task. And whatever you are teaching, that really help to the freshers, sir, because to clear the, even though I have the knowledge, but I would like to attend our classes, sir, because to enhance my, wherever the gaps are there, I can fulfill the gaps, sir, actually, to be honest.
Good. So guys, please understand that most of the people are working and they are learning. So
Yes, sir,
freshers,
but whatever you said, every day is a student, sir. That is correct.
we need to be student every day.
Every day, that is correct, sir. Obviously.
Lifelong we should be.
Lifelong student.
Yes, we have to learn.
Yes,
Freshers, we
sir.
are wasting a lot of time. Those people are working, they are married, they have family, they are having job, and still they are spending time to learn the concepts that's required for the job. So you have a lot of time. You are wasting that time. So please realize and try to learn the things. Start self-learning. That's very, very, very important. So I have told this topic, this point more than 50 to 100 times. Self-learning, self-learning, self-learning. I don't know how many of you taking it seriously. If you take it seriously, then your professional life will be good. If you don't take it seriously, then you need to struggle in the companies to complete your day-to-day activities, to complete your day-to-day tasks in the company. Lot of challenges will be there, guys. All right. So today we discussed about how to send the basic authentication credentials in the request header by using REST template, and how to send them by using web client. And I have given one requirement. So this is very, very important to get more knowledge on the Spring security. Develop Spring Boot REST API with the two functionalities. Our REST API should contain user registration and user login. So we need to test this by using Postman. So for the registration, we will send the name, email, password, and phone number. When we send these details, you need to insert the record into table, and you need to encrypt that password in database by encrypting user password. You should not store the password directly in the table. And for login, end user will give valid email ID and original password. So if they give original password, you should know how to verify with the database. In the database, password is encrypted. So you should know how to implement that login functionality. If the login is valid, you should send success message. If login is invalid, you need to send invalid credential message as a response. For this project, we need to use WebStarter, JPA, any database is fine, and Security Starter, DevTools dependency we need to use for this. Okay, so this is a task for you today, developing a REST API with user registration and user login. Tomorrow I will see how many of you able to complete. Then if you are not able to complete, I will develop this project in the tomorrow session. This is little challenging task only, but in the Google you can find the solution. I want you to do some research and try to implement this user login and user registration functionality by using Spring Security. So once this project is completed, then we will work on OAuth integration in the Spring Boot and JWT integration in the Spring Boot. Are you clear with my point, guys? And I have given one more task also. You people should create account in the AWS cloud. You should know how to create a Linux machine. Then I will show you how to deploy our Spring Boot application in the AWS cloud, how to deploy Spring Boot application by using Docker, how to deploy by using Jenkins. For those things, that Linux knowledge is required. I have shared some Linux videos and how to create Linux machine, how to create account in the AWS cloud. So be ready with those account setup and Linux knowledge. Then we will work on some tools part as well. Good. Any questions, anyone? Can you take this challenge and can you try to complete this requirement before coming to tomorrow's session?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, login and registration by using Spring Security. Good. Thank you, guys. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet again in the tomorrow session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.